Okay, so I would like to officially welcome you to the course walkthrough for Sociology 252. This is Sarah Profit with the Center for Instructional Technology. I'm going to give you just a brief overview of our development process for this course, and then I will turn it over to our developer, Matthew Howell. So Matthew and I started this project beginning of this semester, and definitely went into the process with, quality matters in mind, which is the rubric that we follow if you're not familiar with that. And Matthew has done his homework for sure in the area of quality matters. So that made this process really easy for me to manage, and he did a great job of keeping all of those standards at the forefront of development, which is exactly what we want. So as you saw, I sent out some emails to the entire committee at each milestone that was completed in this project. So milestone 1 is the SAM, which stands for the Session Alignment Matrix, and that's our planning document that basically outlines each session of the course, all of the required activities, materials, assessments, and supplemental activities for the students. As well as the SAM, Matthew also developed a project summary sheet, which is new to our process, but it's actually more of a narrative form of the SAM, a little bit easier to read, so you should have received that during milestone 1. And as well, session 1 is built out in the course in Blackboard, and the syllabus file is filled out as well. And so at the beginning of milestone 1, in my email that I sent to all of you, you all were enrolled in the course as a student, so you can see the course kind of from that perspective, which I think is helpful. And then from there, subsequently, I sent out an email at each milestone that was completed, milestone 2, which is session 2 through 6. Milestone 3 is session 7 through 11, and milestone 4 is sessions 12 through 16. And then what we're doing today is considered milestone 5. So we are holding our course walkthrough, and we'll be talking about how Matthew has built this course, and then we'll definitely open it up and get some feedback from all of you, and talk about any edits that might need to be made along the way. So I think you understand what Matthew's role was as the developer of the course. I think that's pretty straightforward. You as committee members, obviously, we ask for feedback throughout all of those milestones while this course is being built, and make sure that we're hitting every area that we should be in the course. And then, obviously, my role is to manage, to keep our timelines on track, to help Matthew with any technical issues, questions, concerns, or anything like that, and to make sure that we've completed our course from beginning to end. So that's kind of my role in a nutshell. So any questions about the overview of the process before I turn it over to Matthew? Okay, great. And for those of you who just joined us, before we started the meeting today, I just had a few announcements about making sure your microphone is muted, so you don't have any background noise. So if you haven't done that yet, please make sure you locate your mute button. And then you can type in the chat at any time. If you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself, but just as long as you're not talking, you can keep yourself muted. So Matthew, I'm going to make you the presenter, and then you can feel free to share your screen and start us out with the syllabus file.
Sounds good. Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Can everybody see my screen now?
Good morning.
Yep. Yes, I can.
Yep.
Okay. So, as Sarah said, we've been working on this course all semester. What I want to do is show you some of the things I have in here and take you on a tour through the course, starting with the announcements page. Just real quickly here, just wanted to show you there's a couple announcements for students and a couple announcements for instructors that are already here. One is a warning, because this is an Include Ed course, they're not allowed to copy content from the publisher out of it. The other one is just kind of a please read to get you started as the instructor of the course, and then an announcement for the students letting them know that they paid for the textbook. The textbook is embedded in the course. and they paid for that when they pay their tuition. And finally, of course, the first day announcement that's pretty standard in these. So those are all just there kind of to get the instructors rolling a little bit on what they need to do. Then we go to the...
Matt?
Go ahead.
I'm just wondering, is this going to be kicked off in January?
I believe that's the plan, isn't it, Sarah? We're going to be piloting this in the spring?
Yes.
And is it anywhere, all the campuses, or just certain campuses?
It'll be any campus that
Cool.
has this
Okay.
course in the spring semester. Yep.
Thank you, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving to the Start Here tab. Again, there's a little note for the instructor here letting them know some important things to do prior to beginning. We go to the syllabus. And it's got the syllabus, calendar, and then tips for success in here. I've tried to include notes for instructors so that wherever they go, there is something letting them know what they need to do in this particular place. So we have the syllabus here. A lot of it is very, familiar. I've taken the course outline of record, the latest one we have, but a lot of this, of course, is pretty standard for our statewide online courses. The policies and everything like that are pretty much the way they were when I received the template. Where we've made changes, of course, is in this section here, beginning with the assignments and grading. I've tried to provide for the students a fairly good description of everything that they're going to be doing for this course. And if I'm scrolling too fast, just let me know. But we'll be looking at some of these in more detail.
Mm-hmm.
But just trying to provide them with a good idea of what's going on. And then, of course, we have the grading scale here. I've divided the grading scale into two parts. One is just the course orientation criteria, which is really 30 points, and then the actual course content criteria as well. Grading scale, then, just showing them it's a standard grading scale. And then I have included the calendar on the syllabus just because sometimes students open that up, print it out, and use that as their reference for everything. So I did go ahead and include the calendar in the syllabus here, although, let me minimize this now. If we go back, they can access the calendar in this folder specifically. And there's both one that you can download and one that's just embedded as an item.
And Matt, can you just make changes when it's embedded?
Yeah, you can just go in.
Okay.
You can just go in and edit directly in it using the edit function here.
Good.
So,
thank you.
Yes, you can do that. You can just edit it straight in there. And as you can see, we have readings, assignments, assessments, and due dates for everything. Pretty standard stuff. Instructors, some instructors use Thursday. I put a Friday deadline in here. That can be changed if needed. So that's pretty much what we have in here. Of course, then we have the tips for success. Fairly standard. The other things we have in the Start here, of course, are the standard stuff, the help folder with Blackboard and technology. It shows you the link to the ebook in that help as well.
Matt, should we wait for questions till the end, or can I ask questions now?
You can ask questions if you'd like.
Okay, well then, when we talked about the due date for the discussion board, now is the initial due date Friday? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was saying the final due date here for all of
okay.
for the session 16. No, I've done a Thursday due date for the initial post of the discussion boards.
Okay, and then Sunday, yeah, because it gives them a few days to respond then.
Right.
To their classmate. Okay.
And yeah, so we do have the Thursday due date. You can see it right here, and then the reply by Sunday for the discussion boards.
Got it. Thank you.
So that's what we've got with the calendar.
Okay.
Okay, the Blackboard Student Guide, of course, is in here. Pop-up blocker. So, and then just getting your computer ready. This is all fairly standard stuff as well. All the stuff they might need to have for this course. So, now going on to take a look at a few of the class sessions and just give you an overview of what they look like. I've tried to make this engaging for the students. I provided a summary on the folder and then just an image that kind of relates to what the content is going to be for that particular class session.
Very nice.
I have to give credit to Milan. I stole the idea from him because he was the first one I had seen use images like that. And so I did kind of borrow that from him, the idea of just giving students some idea of what they're going to be looking at. Then, of course, we have the overview here again. Then a nice list of the course objectives with the competencies from the SAM that they'll be addressing for this particular class session. And this is the same for each session. Required learning materials, supplemental learning materials, and then assessments and assignments. And instead of trying to pile it all into one big class session folder, I've gone ahead and done what a lot of people have done and created a learning activities folder and an assignments and assessments folder. So when we look at the learning activities, we have the required content, and then it will have links or web links or kind of, stuff for the students, and then the supplemental content as well, some YouTube videos. And then when we look here, they just essentially click, and it's got instructions for them on how to do it. But you click on the e-text, and it brings up the entire text, and then it tells me click on the read the e-text, and then they can actually select, after it loads here, the particular chapter in the table of contents. And I've got going to part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, because when you click on those, then it gives you the chapters. And so that's fairly standard. Whoops. See, open the folder for Part 1, Sociology's Basic Approach, and click on the folder for Chapter 1 of the text. This here is an excerpt from another social problems book. It's Social Problems by Henslin, James Henslin. The reason I included this excerpt, and they only really need to read pages 9 through 15, is it gives a really good description of the stages of a social problem. Somewhat better than that I found in the Massionis text, which I think is a good text overall, but if they go down here, it gives them the characteristics. I mean, they can read through the whole one, but really what I'm looking at is this right here, the natural history of social problem, 4 stages, because this breaks it down for them very nicely. I did get permission from Pearson. Even though this is a web link, I did speak to Pearson and let them know I wanted to use this particular excerpt. So I have spoken with the rep and gotten permission, even though this is actually an online access. And then, of course, we have the PowerPoint here. The students can click to open the PowerPoint, an outline that they can click to open as well. Just fairly standard. It's the PowerPoint that comes with the and the outline that actually comes with the text. So you see, it's just the social problems PowerPoint to help the students. Doesn't look like the outline's opening for me here. And then a couple other excerpts. Since we talk about the sociological perspective and the sociological imagination, I've actually gone out and located links to The Promise and then an excerpt from Peter Berger's An Invitation to Sociology, where they have the oh, I'm going to have to fix that. That was working just a little bit ago. Can you make a note of that, Sarah? The C. Wright Mills link is not working. But it has the excerpt from Peter Berger here, and I had other sources for that.
Yep, I'll make a note of it.
Yeah, because for some reason that one's gone now. We had just checked all these. And then this link here is just so they can start preparing, taking a look at the potential questions for the midterm essay. And there's one of these in every folder. Supplemental content, I've got the Help Blackboard right here, helpful Blackboard links for the instructional videos, and then should any instructors choose to use the Collaborate, I have a tutorial here for the students. Here's where the My Soc Lab content is. They can click here to go to the student resources. There's a number of them here for them to use. The one that I actually highlight in the instructions is the flashcards, because they can set up a quiz here for themselves using the flashcards. They just have to select a particular chapter, and it will load all the flashcards in, and then they can select an option to actually take a practice quiz prior to taking the quiz that's in the assignments and assessments.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
It's taking a while to load here, so sorry about the delay here. But yeah, they just click on begin, and then they just go to kind of select cards, and they can clear all and then just select the particular chapter they want. And then they select all for the topics. Done. And they can go ahead and launch a quiz right here. They can do a multiple choice quiz. They can kind of do a speed drill, however they'd like to do it. There's a few options here.
Fun.
And so that's the one I kind of highlight specifically. There are others in here for them to look through in the student resources. Going back to learning activities, some of the supplemental activities, if they struggle with these readings here, I have actually located a couple of lectures. One of them, of course, I'm really glad is on there. It's Mitchell Dunier actually lecturing on The Promise. And that's a YouTube video. And then this was a pretty good lecture on the sociological perspective here for the YouTube as well. This final link here is just a little refresher on sociological theory. It takes a look at social constructionism, symbolic interaction, conflict, structural functionalism, and it gives the students a good overview in case they need a little refresher on sociological theory. So that's kind of the layout of the learning activities. And then the assignments and assessments, they'll go in here, and there will be various links. First one, of course, is the course rubrics, which are located in the resources, but this takes them directly to that so that they can see the rubric for each of the assignments they're going to be required to do. There's a lot of orientation, of course, in here, the syllabus agreement, orientation quiz, discussion board. Doing the syllabus agreement is just, it encourages them to read the syllabus, of course, but they actually are signing something essentially saying they've read the syllabus. The orientation quiz is after reviewing the Blackboard user guide, an introductory discussion post, and then just to refresh them, a little vocabulary assignment here. So that they can kind of look up and define these 10 terms just to make sure that they understand where the textbook is kind of beginning. The first quiz, and then there's a link here to a later assignment so that they begin thinking about it. The group project assignment. And I'll be looking at that in greater detail in class session 6. So the next one I'd like to go to is class session 3. Again, the layout, course objectives, it's got an overview, course objectives, required learning materials, supplemental learning materials, and then assignments and assessments. It's got a summary in each of these as well. We go to the learning activities folder. You'll see once they go through one, they should be fairly familiar with how this is going to be laid out. These are the required videos, materials for them to watch to get them ready for things they're going to be doing in this session, and then just some supplemental materials as well, looking at other issues in race and ethnicity. That's what this particular chapter is about here.
Matt, when you have the required videos to watch, is there a way to know if they've watched them?
These are tied to the assignments.
Oh, okay.
They're going to be doing in the assignments and assessments folder. These are actually tied to the assignment. I was just going to get to that. When we have these required videos and required readings, they're kind of tied to the assignments and assessments in here. And it will tell you, see, watch the videos of Savage Legacy, Apartheid, Jim Crow, and Racism Today, and the story we tell, The Illusion of Race. So if they haven't watched the video, they're going to struggle a little bit with the topics for the discussion board, because these videos provide some good background to utilize concepts from the textbooks. So they are tied into the assignments, the required videos and the required readings. There's some articles and stuff to read as well. This one's a little broader. Some of the other ones are much more focused in on the videos or the readings they have to do. A quiz. There's a quiz in each chapter in each section. There's one section where we have, one section where we have 2 chapters, and so the quiz covers both chapters. But each quiz, they consist of 15 multiple choice questions and one real short answer essay, like 2 or 3 sentences at most. These are drawn from a pool from the publisher. I've gone through them. I haven't found any mistakes. That doesn't mean there aren't any. It just means I haven't located any of yet. There is also a rubric for the short answer essay for teachers to use to assist in grading fairly quickly. Okay, for the term paper project, again, we have the links for the group wiki, and there will be links for the term paper journal in each folder, but this would be the first part of it they'd be submitting, would be the term paper research proposal. And this is really just, I'm asking for a 1-page statement of the particular social problem they're going to research, the theoretical perspective, and the method they're going to use to do an APA kind of research paper for the term. Where they're going to be submitting this, and I'm going to click here, it actually is in a journal, so that each instructor will be able to provide individualized feedback to the student and it gives a description of the entire assignment here as well. They can also,
Matt?
Yeah.
Sorry. How did you come up with the page guideline? How do you decide how long a paper should be? I see that you divided it up, and then you have it, I think, what is it, 10 to 12 pages? What's the decision making in the length?
In the length, it's looking at the nature of really giving a good description of kind of a social problem, looking at various issues with the social problem, and then the APA element format elements. So kind of what they're writing is a 10 to 12 page paper that includes title page, abstract page, reference page.
And are those all part of the page count?
Yeah, all of which, see right here, all of which are to be included in the page count.
Oh, good. Okay.
So really I'm asking them for roughly a 5 to 7 page paper with all the APA format elements in there then.
Okay.
And, you know, kind of developing it here with the literature review, trying to extend, and I've got an essay for them to read on how to do a literature review in the course as well.
Nice. Very thorough.
So, but that's what I came to, was that, you know, if they do like a 6 to 8 page paper, essentially, they should have no problem meeting that length requirement with the APA format elements included in there, because they can include charts and graphs presenting their findings as well. And what I wanted them to do was really write kind of a short journal article almost. So that's what I was kind of looking through here. The first two components, the research proposal and the literature review, will be submitted here through the journal. They'll just create a journal entry. And this allows the instructor, you know, if you do the journal, you can comment on and provide feedback to them. And then the final one is where they actually submit it through Safe Assign and then get the grade. This just, I feel the reason that I wanted to do this through the journal is it kind of increases the student-instructor contact and interaction in the course, allowing them to do it this way. And then the instructor can actually monitor which students are completing these assignments in the journal and which aren't. It just gives them an easy way, you know, because all you have to do is click down here, hit Show Empty Journals, and you can see everybody who hasn't contributed anything yet.
Okay.
So that was kind of the decision on that. So, and then of course the group PowerPoint, I am going to take you to that. It's in session 6, which is the next session I'm going to go to here. I love that picture of the canine. The FBI dog.
I'm going to have to steal that idea from you and do that for my class sessions.
Well, like I said, give credit where credit is due. Milan Andreevich is the one that I stole it from. So, okay. So again, we have the overview and everything here. Now, see, here's one that's a little bit more specific, where I'm asking them to read a pro and con point of view on 3 strikes laws, specifically California's 3 strikes law. And these are from our opposing viewpoints in the school library, the virtual library. And this ties directly into what they'll be writing about for this particular class session. I've also included here to kind of keep them moving along with doing research, how to find and evaluate research, a short guide to locating and understanding sources. So I'm trying to provide them some materials to help them with the research process as well. Again, the link here. A couple more videos that they can watch if they like to. Really, these are on recidivism, and then they've got the access to the My Social Lab folder here as well. But when we go to the assignments and assessments, you'll see where that's actually the 3 strikes are tied right into an assignment they have to do here. Again, we've got the link to the course rubrics, the chapter quiz, the session quiz with the chapters that it's highlighting. And then this is a short analysis essay. This is a paper, I say 1 to 3 pages. I'm really looking for them to do at least 1 good page, and then it gives them practice with the APA format as well. But this is where they're really beginning to do some analysis. They're reading the 2 articles on California's 3 strikes laws, and then they're writing a paper comparing and contrasting the ideological differences in these editorials. And then trying to analyze how multiple offense laws affect the criminal justice system and larger social structure of U.S. society. And then just some ideas here on how to get a thesis statement going. Now, here's one of the group PowerPoint. They're just essentially building a PowerPoint like they would for a presentation on a social problem. And this will take them to it'll take them to the one that they can actually get into. Each person will be assigned to one. It's got the group PowerPoint project, a good description of it. The first one of these shows up in session 2, where they're really asked to kind of provide an outline of what they're going to do with the PowerPoint.
So, Matt, do we assign them into the groups as instructors, or do they get to choose? Okay, we just put them into each group as we, okay.
And I have a guide for that I'll be showing you in instructor resources. For any instructors that aren't familiar with how to do that, I've got a guide with screenshots showing everybody how to do that.
Thank you.
So that will be in there as well. And I am going to show you the group page as well. But so there's 3 parts to this. all of the first two will be submitted kind of through the wiki, just showing the instructor that they're working on it. Again, this is kind of like the journal idea, where the instructor has a place to monitor them in the group page, in the group wiki. I'm not actually going to create a page here. But yeah, there are 6 groups. You can eliminate, if you don't have a full class, you can eliminate a group to make sure that there's 4 or 5 students in each group, is my thinking. Somewhere between 4 and 6 students in each group.
Yeah, that's a
would be the right amount.
Yeah.
So, and so that's in there as well. Like I said, I'll just show you real briefly here. The first one will be in session 2, giving them a little instruction on that as well. Mm-hmm. And then I've provided in the class sessions links to both the group wiki page, the group wiki project, and the term paper journal, so that students are reminded they need to be working on these ideas. Okay, the next one I'm going to go to here is 14. Again, we've got the basic layout here, highlighting what objectives are going to be addressed, what competencies are going to be addressed, a short summary, and all the materials, the content for the session. And then something to kind of help them with the PowerPoint itself. They have access to this. And then this article is just showing them why it's beneficial to present sometimes, encouraging them that if they're doing research to present their undergraduate research, so that they can take a look at both of those. And then some other stuff here that just kind of addresses the content of this chapter, chapter 15. But since they're doing the PowerPoint, the only other thing they have is the chapter 15 quiz for that chapter. And then this will actually take them to the group PowerPoint assignment itself, where they submit it. I have a caution here. Instructors might want to remind them about that. This is a group project, so each student will not be submitting it individually. They'll be submitting it. They'll select one person to submit it for the entire group.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody will share equally. But the reason I run that through the group wiki is because in that group page, instructors can actually monitor who's contributing and who's not contributing, should they wish to do something like an override.
We might bold that bottom statement just so students realize, you know what I mean? Important.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they don't read important unless it really sticks out. Just a thought.
Sure. No, I actually agree with that. Sarah, would you make a note reminding me to go ahead and bold that? Because that's something I think we can do really quickly, and I agree with Iris. I think it's a good idea. So, and then the final one I wanted to take a look at as far as class sessions go was class session 15. And that is where the term paper will be submitted. A lot of objectives covered here because they're working on the term paper and turning that in.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do have a discussion board in this one as well that relates to some of the videos they're watching here. And then we've got the link to the textbook, PowerPoint outline. This is just to kind of, if they need to look at something to give them an idea of how to lay out like kind of research, this gives them an overview of researchers studying a particular group of people. And it kind of gives them a good overview of how to lay out research. It looks at content and methodology in research, getting them ready. I've also got a link in here to the APA format guide, 6th edition, so that they have that. Couple videos here. Again, one kind of pro climate change exists, another one saying yeah, but climate change may exist, but the impact is overstated. Asking the students to do another compare and contrast in the discussion board. A couple more on climate change, taking a look at that. The link to this, and then a sample paper here for APA so that they can take a look at that if they would like to. And then going to the assignments and assessments. Yes?
Where do they submit the paper?
I was just getting to that.
Yeah, thanks.
In assignments and assessments, that's where we have that. There's the discussion board here. Just asking them to kind of, and they're discussing a little on U.S. policy, looking at these two videos. Then there's a chapter quiz here as well, a safe assign submission, and I'm asking them to submit it both through safe assign and then actually submit it here in this assignment. They'll have to submit it twice. The reason I do that is because there's a rubric attached to this assignment here to assist instructors in grading, but you cannot attach rubrics to safe assign assignments. But I would like the students to, I would like the instructors to have the benefit of safe assign so that they can look and see, make sure that the work is an original work. But then submitting it through the actual project assignment itself allows the instructor to use a rubric for grading.
Matt, we had a meeting about plagiarism and so on several months ago, and one of the suggestions they had, and I don't know if you like this idea, is that you could also set up, and I did this in my classes for the papers, is set up a draft safe assign so that they can see their paper before they finally submit it. And what I also included was how to read a safe assign report. And so then they could check to see if their paper was over a certain percentage and why it was, and they could correct it and then finally submit it. Just a thought.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I would be able to, I can't promise I would be able to get that done. I do like that idea, allowing them to submit a draft safe assign. And I think that is a good idea. It's something that if I can't, for some reason, get it incorporated, I would like to, maybe do that during the course improvement plan. I think that that might be something that we could definitely look at adding during that point in time.
Yeah,
I do like that idea, letting students submit their work and then see, and then they try to fix it themselves before they actually have to submit it for grading.
Right. Then they can understand if their citing was wrong or whatever.
Yeah.
Because the report can really show them, and if you include the how to read that report, it shows them what's standard, what's not cited correctly, and all of that stuff.
Right. Show them the color coding that's used there and that kind of stuff. Right. Okay. So yeah, I think that that's actually a really good idea, and I would like to incorporate that. So yeah, thank you. That's actually an excellent suggestion.
You're welcome.
So, okay. Anything else? Any questions, comments about class sessions before I move on a little bit here? Whoops, I don't know what just happened here. Okay, discussion boards. There are 10 discussion boards. And there's 11 total. There's 10 topical discussion boards and 1 introductory discussion board. And then we have a help forum here and the cyber cafe. So we have an introductory discussion board, and then discussion boards addressing some of the topics. First chapter's on poverty, so watching a video and reading The Myth of the Culture of Poverty by Paul Gorski to kind of open up the idea of poverty, which is a recurring theme throughout the textbook. Race, gender, aging, sexuality, and here I'm having them look at opposing viewpoints on abstinence education. This again comes out of our opposing viewpoints database in the library. A lot of the videos and readings come out of the library. So again here, talking about birth control and taking a look at opposing viewpoints again. I love the opposing viewpoints for the social problems course. I think it really kind of makes the students look at both sides of an issue. This one is kind of, they have a choice of which one they would like to answer here, either on politics or on the economy, and we've got a couple videos here. They are required to watch both videos so that they'll be able to respond to other student posts regardless of you know, which videos students, just in case everybody watches one video except for one student who watches the other video. That way they can respond to posts still. Looking here, reading a couple, there's about 3 articles to read, and there are different viewpoints presented on here with regards to looking at what happens with research into same-sex families. Politicized Science is actually writing an article about research being used politically. So it asks the students to kind of look at what goes on between research, ideology, and policy in these 3 articles. Education, and then finally the one for climate change. And there's not big discussions in every single class session. There's discussions in about 10, including the introduction, 11 class sessions. So just I like the discussion boards because it really promotes student-student engagement. But that's the reason I added the group project as well, to even increase student-student engagement in the course. Any comments about the discussion boards? I saw the one from Iris there agreeing about the opposing viewpoints, I believe. So collaborating. Okay, just showing here under resources, I have placed both a file that they can download and an item with the actual description of the term paper research project and the group PowerPoint project. So they can kind of take a look at those early on. There's also a link to the entire textbook here. And then going to the course rubrics folder, I have provided them with all the rubrics used for the assignments. This would be for the essay exam, and then this is the short rubric for the quiz here. And these are the actual rubrics that are attached to each of the assignments. And for all the questions on the quizzes, all the questions on the essay, all the discussion boards, the rubrics are attached to the assignments in the shell. Instructors may want to go through and verify that and make sure, like, because I think discussion boards sometimes the rubrics become unattached. So they'll need to make sure that happens. But the analysis essay, there's 2 of those, group project, term paper, all of it's in there for the students to see. Okay, communication and tools. Just to let everybody know that in here, in addition to email, course messages, there's a link to the groups, a link to the wikis, and a link to the journals, all of which will be used for this particular course. This is where you can go to actually enroll. If you go to group sets, I'll just show you real quick. This is how I randomly enrolled everybody. into this. There are instructions for that. But those are the other important communication and tools that will be used in this course. The wiki page, which we've already seen. Each group has their own wiki page that they can use. They'll need to create it, of course. And then the journals page, which students can go directly here, and then they just click on this, and it takes them to the same place that all the links in the folders will take them. Okay, under instructor resources, in addition to the usual ones here, the instructor guide, I've included these instructional videos. And then there's this, the Pearson MyLab instructor guide. This right here, Working with Groups in Blackboard, is the document I've created, well, adapted, really. Sarah provided me with the original document to adapt, but shows how to go in and edit and actually add the people in. Group membership, and then there's a couple steps in there, but I've provided a pretty detailed guide for them to be able to, and then if they need to delete a group, because there's fewer than 30 students, it gives them another way of adding users as well, which is to just go in and manually enroll people in the classes, or to delete people from groups. So just in case anybody's not real familiar with using the groups function, I provided them a pretty good detailed document that will take them through that.
So, Matt?
Yeah.
Can the students delete other students from the group?
No.
No, okay.
I have it set so that students cannot self-enroll or self-delete, or it's the instructor. The instructor is the only one that's allowed to enroll students.
Great, thank you.
That was the default setting I chose. And the final thing here, of course, is each student will see my groups with the PowerPoint project group in here. If we go to the group home page, shows the group members, the tools that I have chosen for the groups to use, file exchange where they can actually upload and download files, group tasks so they can make a list dividing out the tasks, a link to the group wiki, and then they can use this to send an email, and it will email the members of the group. They just hit select all, and they can email everybody in the group at the same time. And then this link here is actually to the final submission of the group assignment. That takes them directly to the group assignment, so if they forget which class folder it's in, although all they have to do is look at the calendar, there's another link here to the group project assignment itself. So, okay, so that's the course. I think I've highlighted all the important things in there. Are there questions that anybody has about it?
No, it looks awesome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
I can't wait to teach it. I love that.
I hope I've made it engaging for both the instructor and the student. That was kind of my goal.
Yeah, it looks great.
Anybody else? Questions, comments?
Nope.
With that, then, I guess I tried to explain my rationale and everything, so I think I'm pretty much finished, and I think I'll turn it back over to Sarah now.
One more thing, Matt. I wanted to tell you I just emailed you the PDF on how to read a Safe Assign report.
Okay, great. Thank you, Iris. I appreciate that.
Yep. You're welcome.
All right, so if there's no further questions, comments, concerns, or anything like that, I'll just quickly wrap us up today and we can finish ahead of schedule and get you back to your day. So next steps, just so everybody's aware, I was keeping notes, and Matt and I will meet and kind of go over the feedback that we received today, which we really do appreciate. So I thank everyone for attending today. So we'll go over that feedback, make any last-minute changes, polish up anything that was still lingering in the course. And then what we do next in our process is we move the course into what we call a tech check. And this course is actually one of our courses that we used in a pilot where we had a tech checker who was embedded in the development. So that she's actually on our call today, Lena Harper from Lafayette. She was able to meet with us on a weekly basis and go through and check the course as Matt was building it. And give us that type of feedback, too, about any technical issues. So all of those really should be ironed out at this point, but we will do one last overall check of the course and make sure we didn't miss anything as far as broken links like I did see today. So those will all be rechecked. And then after that, I will do my last check of the course on my end and get it packaged and ready for spring. So any statewide online course that's created for the spring semester will automatically be loaded with the content that you saw today. And that's the basic structure of the course, and everything will be ready to go for the instructor, and it'll just be those few kind of setup processes that will have to be followed in order to get the course all ready to go. So I'm happy to hear that Iris shared that she's excited to teach this, and I hope that that's obviously that's our goal, is that everybody's excited to teach the courses that we build. So that was exciting to hear. I do appreciate that. So any last-minute questions or concerns? I don't want to cut anybody off if you did have anything to say.
Nope, it's a great job.
All right. Well, Matt, I can't say enough how much I appreciate your work, and I know everybody here today appreciates that as well, and you did a great job. I can't say it enough, but thank you so much for all of your hard work. You put out a wonderful course. So thanks for everybody for attending today. If you do have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to Matt or I.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yep. Have a great day, everyone.